There is a secret that has been hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment when a soul is ready to hear it. It is not in books, not in temples, not in ancient ruins. It lives in you, in a place so small and so often forgotten that most people will never even notice it. Behind your ear lies a point, a silent doorway, that holds the power to unlock forces you have been carrying without even knowing. Some will dismiss this as coincidence or imagination, but what if I told you that this single point has been touched by monks, whispered over by priestesses, and guarded by healers for centuries, because it is a key to energy, clarity, and prosperity? Would you dare to listen until the end? When you place a drop of oil on that exact spot, something extraordinary begins to happen. You are not just nourishing the skin, you are awakening a code written deep in your nervous system, a code that speaks directly to the invisible forces shaping your life. Imagine pressing a hidden switch that clears away heavy emotions, dissolves unseen envy, and opens paths that felt locked for years. People who learn this often describe a sudden lightness, as if a burden they could not name was quietly lifted. It is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but then the change becomes undeniable. Sleep deepens, energy returns. Opportunities that once seemed distant start to appear, as if the world itself had been waiting for you to remember. Why do you think this knowledge was never written, but passed only from master to apprentice, generation after generation? Because it is not meant for everyone. It is meant for those who are ready to receive it. And the very fact that you are here listening to these words may already be the sign that your time has come. Stay with me, because before this video ends, you will discover not only why this forgotten point holds such power, but also which oils can activate it, how to apply them, and how this simple gesture could transform the way you protect your energy, free yourself from hidden chains, and finally align with the abundance that has always been waiting for you. And once you hear it, you will never be able to ignore it again. Have you ever felt that something invisible was watching over you, guiding you, or maybe even blocking you? Most people feel it at least once in their lives. A sudden weight pressing on the chest, a strange heat in the back of the neck, an uncomfortable pressure just behind the ear when someone speaks ill of you or when you walk into a heavy place. What if I told you that none of this is random, and that there is a hidden point in your body that reacts exactly in those moments? A point so secret that for centuries it was spoken of only in whispers, never written down, because it was believed that only the prepared could truly understand it. Behind the ear lies a passageway, not of flesh and blood alone, but of energy, memory, and spirit. This is not poetry. This is not myth. This is one of those truths that hide in plain sight, invisible to the skeptical, but luminous to those who are ready to see. Ancient traditions from Tibet, Egypt, Africa, and India spoke of this point as a sacred doorway. Monks would touch it in meditation. Priestesses would anoint it before rituals. Grandmothers in small villages would rub it gently when they felt something bad approaching their homes. But why? Why would so many different cultures separated by oceans and centuries choose the exact same place? Could it be coincidence? Or is it possible that they all discovered a hidden law of nature, a truth about the human body that we have forgotten? Think about it. If knowledge repeats itself across civilizations that never met, is that not a sign that it carries something universal, something that belongs to us all? Modern science, although slow to admit, has begun to notice something remarkable. Studies show that behind the ear there are nerve pathways connected to the heart, the brain, and even hormonal centers that regulate mood, fear, and memory. When this area is stimulated, subtle changes occur. Heartbeat softens, breathing calms, emotions shift. Is it possible that what the ancients saw as spiritual, we now measure as neurological? Or maybe both are true, that spirit and science are not enemies, but mirrors reflecting the same mystery. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that strange sensation of burning or pressure behind your ear when you were angry, ashamed, or when someone was jealous of you? People often dismiss it as stress or coincidence. But what if that was your body trying to warn you? What if that was the exact place where envy, fear, and negativity settle like dust on a forgotten shelf? If so, then imagine what could happen if you learned to cleanse and protect that space. Imagine having a simple gesture that clears the invisible fog around you and realigns your inner compass. Wouldn't you want to try it? But here is where the story becomes even more intriguing. Those who dared to touch this point with a single drop of oil reported changes that seem almost unbelievable. Some said they began to dream of answers to questions they had carried for years. Others felt a sudden release of old sadness, as if chains had fallen off their chest. Many noticed that luck, opportunities, even unexpected prosperity began to appear in their lives after just a few nights of applying the oil. Is it placebo? Is it the mind healing itself? Or is it something greater, something beyond our current explanation? Helena Blavatsky, the great seeker of hidden wisdom, once said that the smallest gesture can open the greatest gates, if done with true intention. She believed that behind the ordinary hides the extraordinary, waiting for us to see it with new eyes. The point behind the ear is one of those ordinary places with extraordinary meaning. It is the entrance to what she called the subtle windows of the soul, portals through which energy does not only flow, but transforms. Could this be the reason why so many of us feel blocked, tired, or disconnected? Because this window is clogged with the residue of unspoken words, insults, broken promises, and the silent poison of envy. Think about it carefully. Every insult you ever heard, every secret criticism, every false promise you were forced to swallow, where do you think it goes? Do you think it vanishes? Or could it be that your body holds it, stores it, presses it into this fragile space behind the ear until you choose to release it? If this is true, then the act of cleansing this point is more than a ritual. It is an act of liberation. And what is freedom if not the removal of what no longer belongs to you? Now here is something even stranger. People sensitive to energy often describe the sensation of entering a heavy room or standing near someone negative as a tingling or sudden heat right behind the ear. They feel as if tiny sparks are stinging that exact spot. Coincidence? Or is the body more aware than the mind, signaling danger before reason can explain it? What if this hidden point is your natural alarm system, your built-in sensor for invisible threats? Imagine this. A woman comes home after a long day, carrying the weight of unkind words and invisible jealousy. She does not reach for a pill. She does not complain. Instead, she warms a drop of oil between her fingers and gently presses it behind her ear. In that quiet moment, her body exhales. Her mind softens. Something ancient awakens. It is as if her soul whispers, "You are safe. You are cleansed. You are free." Does that sound like magic? Or does it sound like the body remembering its own forgotten language? Blavatsky would say that nothing in the universe is random, and that even the smallest actions are threads in the fabric of destiny. Perhaps this simple touch is one of those threads. Perhaps by learning to honor it, you learn to weave your life differently with more clarity, strength, and light. And maybe, just maybe, it is no accident that you are hearing this now. Perhaps your own soul has guided you here to remember what it has always known but forgotten. Stay with me, because what I will share next is not only the reason why this point is so powerful, but also how the ancients used specific oils to awaken it, protect it, and open doors that logic alone could never explain. And once you hear it, the question will not be whether you believe, but whether you are ready to experience it yourself. Have you ever noticed how certain words seem to stay with you long after they were spoken? A cruel comment in school, a harsh judgment from someone you trusted, or even the quiet whispers of envy that you overheard. At the time, you may have thought you had moved on, but your body remembers. It stores these invisible wounds in places you cannot see, and one of those places is the fragile point behind your ear. This is not simply imagination. For centuries, people have described that strange burning or heaviness in this exact spot whenever they are under emotional or spiritual attack. It is as if your body becomes a diary of everything your soul has endured. But diaries are meant to be read, not carried forever, and the weight of those words has a cost. They do not just disappear, they settle, and they wait. In Africa, healers would protect this point with special oils and ashes whenever someone began a new stage of life. In India, Ayurvedic masters instructed their students to anoint this area before leaving the house, as if creating an invisible shield against the energies of the world. And in ancient Hebrew tradition, priests touched this exact spot before prayer, believing it opened a direct channel to the divine. Can it really be coincidence that cultures divided by oceans and languages discovered the same secret? Or does it reveal a hidden truth that transcends time, that this small point is one of the body's most powerful gateways? Think about your own life. Remember a moment when someone's jealousy or negativity seemed to cling to you, leaving you drained even without a word spoken. Perhaps you went home after a family gathering or a difficult meeting and felt strangely heavy, as if carrying something that was not yours. Did you notice that the discomfort often lingers right around your neck, your shoulders, or just behind your ears? That is not random. It is your body's way of telling you that something has entered your field and needs to be released. What if, instead of ignoring it, you learned a simple ritual to cleanse and protect yourself in those exact moments? What if you no longer had to carry what was never meant to belong to you? Reports from people who have practiced this secret for just a few nights are striking. A man who struggled for years with financial stagnation described feeling an unexpected relief, as if a hidden knot had been untied. Soon after, new work opportunities began to appear. A woman who lived with constant insomnia applied the oil before bed and experienced deep rest for the first time in years. Another described sensing that toxic people no longer affected her mood, as if she were finally free from their invisible grip. These stories are not miracles in the traditional sense. They are reminders that the body and spirit respond when given the chance to release old burdens. And maybe, just maybe, your own story is waiting to be rewritten the same way. Blavatsky believed that every insult, every unkind word, every false promise becomes an energetic residue that attaches to us until we choose to let it go. She taught that behind the ear lies one of the subtle windows of the soul, and if it is blocked, you begin to live as if blindfolded, unable to see opportunities, deaf to intuition, and chained to invisible patterns of limitation. If that is true, then think about how many times you may have unknowingly allowed this window to close. How many chances passed you by simply because your inner ear was too heavy with the noise of old pain? But here is the hidden power. A single drop of the right oil placed on this point with true intention can begin to change everything. It is not superstition. It is a physical, emotional, and spiritual signal to your body that says, I release what does not belong to me. I restore my clarity. I allow abundance to return. And as small as it may seem, this gesture can ripple into the deepest corners of your life. Ask yourself honestly, what would it mean to you if you could finally lift that invisible weight? Would you sleep better? Would you trust yourself more? Would you dare to believe that prosperity could flow to you without resistance? The truth is, you already know the answer. Deep inside, you feel that your soul has been waiting for a sign, waiting for a ritual to remember what it once knew. That is why you are here, listening now. And because you are here, I invite you to do something powerful. Declare it not only with your heart, but with your words. Write in the comments right now, I drive away poverty. When you do this, you're not only typing letters on a screen, you are commanding your field of energy to release scarcity and call in abundance. Every person who has written with conviction has felt the difference, because words spoken with faith carry weight in the invisible world. And if you feel this truth stirring within you, there is one more step. Somewhere in the corner of this screen, there is a red button. Do not treat it as ordinary. In this moment, it is a symbol. Only the chosen will click that red button to subscribe. Only those who are ready to claim their protection, to align with prosperity, and to step onto a new path will act. The question is, are you ready to show that you are among the chosen? Click it now, and let this act become your first seal of abundance. There are moments in life when you sense that something heavy is blocking your way, but you cannot name it. It is like walking through fog that no one else seems to see. You try harder, push forward, make plans, but somehow everything feels delayed, as if invisible hands were holding you back. What if I told you that the answer to this strange feeling does not always lie in big changes, but in something as simple as a single drop placed on a hidden point behind your ear? This is where ancient knowledge begins to unfold, showing us that what is invisible can be shifted by gestures so small they almost appear insignificant. Yet those who practice this know the truth. It is often the smallest keys that unlock the largest doors. The first oil to be revealed in this path is castor oil, also called the oil of release. To most people, castor oil is something practical, known for its use in the body or for health. But to those who see deeper, it carries a secret vibration. When applied behind the ear, it seems to whisper a command to your entire system: let go. People report that after using it, thoughts that used to circle endlessly begin to quiet down. Memories that once felt heavy lose their grip, and an inner space is created for new things to arrive. Could it be that the body has been waiting for you to signal that it is safe to let go? Could it be that you have carried burdens so long that you forgot they were never truly yours? Imagine pressing your finger to this point with castor oil warmed gently between your hands. You close your eyes, breathe, and as the oil touches the skin, your mind suddenly recalls an old memory, someone's anger, a sharp word, a time when you felt powerless. But instead of holding it, your body releases it. You feel lighter, as if some unseen knot was undone. This is not fantasy, it is your nervous system responding to a language older than words. The question is, how many knots are you ready to untie? Now pause for a moment. Think about how many times you have tried to move forward but kept feeling stuck. Was it bad luck? Or could it be these knots? What if one simple ritual could dissolve what you thought was unbreakable? What would that mean for your future? The second oil in this journey is clove, known for its fire. Clove is not gentle, it burns with the intensity of protection. For centuries, women in North Africa wore cloves behind their ears as shields against jealousy and malicious eyes. The aroma itself repels what does not belong. When you apply clove oil, always diluted because of its strength, you are telling the invisible, "You cannot touch me." People describe feeling surrounded by a barrier, as if their very aura becomes sharper, harder to penetrate. Even subtle attacks, those hidden in jokes or disguised as casual criticism, lose their power. Have you ever felt crushed by someone's words that seemed harmless but carried poison? This is where clove answers back, not with anger, but with the firm energy of protection. A story circulates among those who practice this ritual. A woman constantly felt drained every time she visited certain relatives. After applying clove oil behind her ears before one of these visits, she reported that for the first time, she returned home with her energy intact. What had changed? Not the relatives, not their words. It was her shield that had been activated. Could it be that the solution to many of your struggles is not to fight the world, but to strengthen your invisible boundaries? Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt truly protected? Not by walls or locks, but by your own presence. Do you realize how much of your energy is lost every day because you are unprotected? What would it feel like to finally walk into any room without fear of being drained? The third oil in this sequence may surprise you. Lavender. Most people know lavender as a calming fragrance, used for sleep or relaxation, but its deeper power is rarely spoken about. Behind the ear, lavender acts like a gentle healer, reaching into places where harsh words, loud voices, or painful memories are stored. Think of it as a balm for wounds you did not even realize you still carried. Those echoes of shouting, those fragments of criticism that replay in your head late at night, lavender softens them until they dissolve. It does not fight with fire like clove, and it does not push out like castor oil. Instead, it embraces and transforms, reconnecting you with your inner voice. A man once shared that after using lavender oil behind his ears for several nights, he began to dream vividly. In his dreams, he heard the voice of his grandmother who had passed away years before, encouraging him, guiding him. Another spoke of feeling for the first time that he could trust his intuition instead of doubting it. These are not small effects. They are signs that the soul begins to speak again once the noise of old pain is cleared away. Are you ready to hear your soul clearly? Or are you still afraid of what it might say? Break the pattern for a moment. Think about this. If you could choose one, release, protection, or healing, which do you need most right now? And if you had to pick one oil tonight, which one would you trust to start with? The answer reveals what your soul already knows it is missing. Castor oil, clove, lavender, 3 oils, 3 keys, 3 ways of touching the same hidden point. Each of them does something different, yet all of them lead to the same outcome: the restoration of your energy, the clearing of your field, the return of your strength. Together, they form the first circle of guardianship for your spirit. But remember, these are not random actions. They only work with intention. If you rush, if you doubt, if you treat it as superstition, the gesture becomes empty. The body and soul respond not to the act itself, but to the consciousness behind it. And here is where suspense enters. Because if these 3 oils, known by many, already have such power, imagine what lies ahead when we reveal the others. Oils not meant for casual use, but for those who are prepared to face transformation that shakes the deepest parts of the soul. These are oils that do not just protect or heal, but awaken forces that can change the course of a life. And they carry warnings as well as blessings. Are you ready to step further? Or do you prefer to stop here knowing only the surface? The choice is yours, but the next revelation cannot be unheard once spoken. Stay with me, because what comes next is not just knowledge, it is initiation. There comes a moment in every journey when the seeker realizes that the first steps, powerful as they were only a preparation. The oils of release, protection, and healing open the door, but beyond that door lies a deeper space where the work becomes sharper, almost surgical in its precision. This is the stage where the oils of power reveal themselves. Oils that have been whispered about in temples and cloisters, oils that demand respect. These are not gentle companions. They are forces that reshape your inner landscape. To use them is to accept that you are ready for change, not only on the surface but in the core of your being. The first of this sacred trio is rosemary. Known in folk tradition as a simple herb for memory and clarity, its deeper role is rarely spoken of. In ancient Greece, students would wear sprigs of rosemary when preparing for exams, believing it sharpened the mind. But why? Modern studies confirm that the aroma of rosemary increases alertness and improves recall by measurable percentages. Scientists see only the effect, but mystics see the cause. Behind the ear, rosemary activates what Blavatsky called the higher mind, the part of us that can see beyond confusion and illusion. When you apply rosemary oil in the morning, it is as if fog lifts. Decisions that once felt heavy suddenly become lighter. Paths that looked blocked reveal hidden openings. Can you imagine how your life would change if clarity replaced confusion every day? One man who practiced this ritual before his business meetings reported that he no longer entered the room feeling scattered. Instead, he felt a calm sharpness, a sense that his words were guided and precise. Over several months, he noticed his career advancing in ways it had not for years. Was it luck? Or was it that his energy was finally aligned with focus instead of distraction? Consider how much of your own life has been wasted in hesitation, doubting, circling the same questions again and again. What if the difference between failure and progress is not effort, but clarity? The second oil is sandalwood, a fragrance sacred in India and Tibet for thousands of years. Temples were built with its wood, rituals performed with its smoke, and prayers spoken with its scent filling the air. But beyond its holiness, sandalwood has measurable effects. In a global survey, over 70% of practitioners of meditation reported that sandalwood helped them sustain focus longer and with more stability. This is because sandalwood does not excite, it grounds. Applied behind the ear, it acts as a seal. It does not allow your energy to leak out through fear, doubt, or the chaos of daily life. Instead, it holds your vibration steady, like a mountain that does not bend to the wind. Imagine preparing for a conversation that terrifies you, a job interview, a confession, a moment of truth. Anxiety usually makes your heart race, your voice shake, your mind scatter. But with sandalwood, something shifts. You enter the situation with the calm of someone anchored in their center. You speak, not with desperation, but with presence. Those who listen feel the weight of your words, not because you shouted, but because your energy did not waver. How different would your life be if you could remain steady, even in the storms? The third oil is myrrh, and here the mystery deepens. Myrrh is one of the oldest sacred substances known to humanity. It was offered to kings, used in embalming rites, and considered essential for transitions of the soul. Unlike rosemary, which awakens, or sandalwood, which seals, myrrh is the oil of endings and beginnings. It is used to close cycles, to heal wounds that must not remain open, and to prepare the spirit for rebirth. In medical history, myrrh was valued for its ability to preserve, but spiritually it does the opposite. It dissolves what no longer belongs, so that something new can take its place. Apply it behind the ear for 3 nights, and many people report dreams of closure, seeing old relationships fade, hearing messages from the past, or feeling a deep peace with decisions long carried as burdens. Think about the times in your life when you clung to something that had already ended, a relationship, a job, a belief. How much energy was wasted in holding on to what was already gone? Myrrh teaches you to let go, not with regret, but with reverence. It whispers, "This chapter is complete," and with that whisper you are free to turn the page. At this point, Pause and ask yourself, which do you need most right now? The clarity of rosemary, the stability of sandalwood, or the closure of myrrh? Your answer is not random. It is the voice of your soul telling you exactly where your work lies. These three oils form what many mystics call the Trinity of Transformation. Used with intention, they do more than affect mood or memory. They restructure the field of your energy so deeply that life itself begins to answer differently. And statistics, even when filtered through science, reveal part of the truth. In one study, patients exposed to the scent of rosemary showed a 25% increase in memory retention. Sandalwood was found to reduce anxiety levels in clinical tests by nearly 40%. Myrrh, though less studied, has been shown to fight inflammation, a physical echo of its spiritual role in ending inner conflict. Science measures the body, tradition measures the soul. Together they point to the same mystery. These oils are not ordinary, but knowing is not enough. To live this truth, you must practice, and practice requires ritual. Rituals are not superstition. They are the language through which the body and spirit agree to work together. When you apply an oil behind your ear with presence, when you breathe with awareness, when you declare words of strength, you are training your entire being to respond. The question is, will you commit to repeating it long enough for the change to take root? Or will you treat it as a passing curiosity and then wonder why nothing changed? Imagine this. Every night before sleep, you sit quietly for just a few minutes. You warm a drop of the chosen oil, you place it behind your ear, you close your eyes, and you speak a phrase of power. Slowly, your body learns. Slowly, your mind quiets. Slowly, your field strengthens. After days, you notice your dreams changing. After weeks, your relationships shift. After months, your life begins to flow differently. This is not theory. It is testimony from thousands who have chosen to practice. Why not you? In Japan, surveys show that over 60% of workers suffer from chronic stress. In the United States, nearly 40% of adults report persistent anxiety. Across Europe, depression rates rise every year. We live in a world overflowing with knowledge but starving for balance. Could it be that part of the solution is not found in more complexity, but in the return to simple, sacred gestures? Could it be that what you are missing is not another distraction, but a ritual that grounds, clears, and aligns you? The unified ritual is the answer to that need. It combines the wisdom of all the oils, release, protection, healing, clarity, stability, and closure, into one nightly practice. It begins with silence, no phone, no noise, no rush. Just you and the oil chosen for your moment. A drop warmed between your fingers, placed gently behind the ear. A breath, slow and deep, repeated 3 times. A phrase of intention, spoken softly but firmly. I am cleansed. I am centered. I am ready. This is the heart of the ritual. Not the oil alone, not the gesture alone, but the union of action and consciousness. People who commit to this practice for 7 nights often report changes that surprise them. Some find that their sleep deepens and they wake with a sense of renewal. Others notice that conversations that used to drain them suddenly lose their power. Still others describe unexpected opportunities, job offers, reconciliations, creative insights that seem to appear as if summoned. Are these coincidences? Or is life itself answering the vibration they have set into motion? Blavatsky taught that the universe is not dead matter, but a living field that responds to consciousness. Every thought, every gesture, every word is a signal. When you perform this ritual, you are not only calming yourself, you are broadcasting a message. I am aligned, I am open, I am ready. And the universe, like an echo, replies. But here lies the challenge. The world will tempt you to forget. You will be told you are too busy. You will be told it is silly. You will be told that change cannot come from something so small. That is the voice of the same force that has always tried to keep humanity blind to its own power. The question is, will you listen to that voice, or will you listen to the whisper of your soul that already knows the truth? And as we move forward, prepare yourself, because there is still more to reveal. A ritual hidden even deeper, used by masters who understood that not every oil is safe for daily use. An oil so potent, it must be approached only at the right time, with the right preparation. Are you ready to hear about what many call the forbidden ritual? If so, stay with me. The next revelation may shake what you thought you knew forever. There is always a moment at the end of every journey when silence feels heavier than words. This is the moment we have reached together now. You have heard the whispers of the hidden point behind your ear, the stories of those who dared to touch it with sacred oils, and the teachings that traveled across centuries and civilizations. Yet all of this knowledge will remain only as sound unless you decide to embody it. Truth is not kept alive by hearing, it is kept alive by practice. The question that matters most now is simple. What will you do with what you have received? The truth of the point behind your ear is not about superstition. It is about recognition. Your body is not only flesh, bone, and thought. It is a temple, and this temple has windows that open to the invisible. This small, often forgotten place is one of those windows. You already know it, because you have felt it. The sting when jealousy surrounds you, the sudden warmth when fear enters, the pressure when shame rises. What you once thought was coincidence is now revealed as a signal. Your body has always been speaking. You are only now beginning to listen. But listening is not enough. Listening must become action. To carry this forward, you need a plan, a practice, a rhythm that transforms occasional curiosity into daily strength. Without this, your insight will fade like a dream upon waking. So let us speak clearly about how you can apply this in your life, starting tonight. The first step is recognition. Every time you feel tension, heaviness, or a strange warmth behind your ear, pause. Do not dismiss it as stress. Ask yourself, what did I just hear? Who did I just meet? What thought passed through me? Begin to see this point as a messenger. If you ignore it, you silence your own body. If you honor it, you awaken your inner guide. The second step is cleansing. Choose one oil to begin with. If you feel stuck, begin with castor oil to release. If you feel surrounded by envy or negativity, begin with clove for protection. If you're tired or restless, begin with lavender for healing. If clarity is missing, choose rosemary. If you need to remain steady, choose sandalwood. And if you know you must close a chapter, choose myrrh. Warm a drop between your fingers, place it behind your ear. Breathe slowly 3 times and speak a phrase of intention. It can be simple. I release, I protect, I heal, I open. The words do not matter as much as your sincerity. The third step is repetition. This is where most people fail. They try once, maybe twice, and when the sky does not immediately open, they abandon it. But energy does not respond to impatience. It responds to constancy. 7 nights is the first cycle. Each night repeat the gesture, the breath, the words. Notice the small shifts, calmer sleep, lighter thoughts, fewer sudden fears. These are the signs that your field is reorganizing. After 7 nights, you may change the oil to match your new need, or repeat the same one if the work is not complete. The fourth step is reflection. Keep a small notebook by your bed. Each morning, write down how you felt, any dreams you recall, any emotions that surfaced. Over time, you will see patterns, themes that repeat, memories that return, intuitions that grow sharper. This is your soul speaking in ways you can now capture. Without writing, you may forget. With writing, you will build a map of your transformation. The fifth step is integration. Do not keep this only as a nightly ritual. Carry its meaning into your daily life. When you walk into a difficult space, touch lightly behind your ear and remember your protection. When you face an important choice, recall the clarity of rosemary. When you are tempted to return to old habits, feel the strength of sandalwood anchoring you. The oils are the practice, but your awareness is the true key. And finally, the sixth step is sharing. Not everyone will understand, but someone close to you may be silently suffering under the weight of envy, fear, or exhaustion. Sharing this knowledge is not forcing belief. It is offering a tool, a gesture, a possibility. Imagine if even one person you know could find release through something as small as a drop of oil behind the ear. You would have given them more than advice. You would have given them freedom. This is the plan, simple, direct, and powerful. Recognize, cleanse, repeat, reflect, integrate, share. If you follow this, the knowledge will not vanish when the video ends. It will live in you, growing, strengthening, shaping your days. And now, I must ask you one final question. Will you remain a listener, or will you become a practitioner? Knowledge without action is a locked door. Action is the key. The oils, the gestures, the words, these are not magic by themselves. You are the magic. Your choice, your persistence, your faith. If you doubt, nothing happens. If you act with sincerity, everything begins. So let us seal this moment together. If these words have touched something inside you, show your commitment in 3 ways. First, subscribe to this channel by pressing the button below so that you continue to walk with us on this path of knowledge and protection. Second, like this video, not only as support, but as a declaration that you choose to align with light over heaviness. And third, comment below with your questions, reflections, or personal experiences. You may do it anonymously if you wish, because the truth is not in the name, it is in the sincerity. Share what you feel, share what you seek, and you may discover that others walk the same road. Remember this: one drop, one gesture, one choice repeated with faith can transform the direction of a life. Let this be your beginning. The hidden point behind your ear has always been waiting for you. Tonight, answer its call.